Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cheat Code Realcast, the place where we explore real use cases of building and growing businesses in Spain. Today's topic is a very exciting one. It's also one of the most painful for many founders and mid sized businesses sales. More specifically, sales to corporate clients. Nowadays, it's obvious that building a product is much easier than selling it. From the outside, corporate sales often look simple, but from my own experience and from conversation with founders across the country, the reality is very different. It takes time, it takes energy, and very often it feels much harder than expected. Today, we'll talk honestly about why is that and what actually works. That's why we invited Ekaterina Kirichenko, who has more than 20 years of experience in business development in large corporates, including IKEA Group, and across more than 10 global markets. Ekaterina, hello, and we are really happy to have you here. Could you please briefly introduce yourself and tell us about your background?
Yeah, hello everybody, and thank you for introduction. I'm also happy to have me here. It's
Great.
a great honor and pleasure to meet you and to discuss such an exciting topic because being part of corporate business for really 2 decades, I feel I have a lot of sharings, insights, personal experience, examples because I'm combining two roles. Yeah, I work for corporate business. I'm business partner for strategy and customer experience in Inca Group. I work with the half of the Europe. I have experience working with India, with the Canada, with Russia, of course, because that's my background. And also, I combine this corporate role with the advisory and mentorship role, where I help startups to scale their business, to fine tune their product, to find alternative income streams and commercial strategy, and in general work on go to market strategy and seeing what are the extra opportunities this brilliant idea, which every founder has, can bring? And then the question of, okay, how can I sell this idea to the big corporate world, to those big elephants, which always, you look at them and like, I'm hungry lion, I want just to get that meat. How to crack the system. I'm here to share the secrets and experience I have. So yeah, let's discuss that.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much for the introduction. Yeah, I think that the possibility to speak with person who works in the corporate is just amazing. So yeah, let's start. Let's start simple. How what is actually a corporate sale and how is it different from a typical B2C sale?
Yeah, definitely. Answering simple, it's way more complex and way more, long in the journey. Because when we speak corporate and when we speak startup or small business, what's the biggest difference? It's scale, right? Because corporate business is often something big. Often it's companies which are present in number of markets, which have operations in different context, legal wise, yeah, governmental wise, financial wise. So they have multiple of divisions in place. They have complex structure. And when the corporate business is buying certain things, products or services, they think that perspective, whether I have everything I need for my, let's say, big house with the 20 rooms, with the 30 rooms, where every room will get what I need, like certain setting. If we speak about the smaller business, it's way more linear and faster. And when we speak about corporate, it's always, I mean, time is important because in order to take the decision, it's just different context how the decisions are taken in corporate. And that's the biggest difference. So it's time and it's complexity.
Okay, okay, interesting. And can you please share about the sales funnel? What is like the most effective B2B sales funnel today?
Yeah, it depends on what you're selling. Yeah, but maybe I would highlight the thing is that often when the startups are approaching corporate business, they think of elevator pitch system. It's like, okay, I will meet CEO in the lift, I will have 2 minutes, and I will, introduce myself, and this person will be charmed by my charisma and my amazing product, and he would just be incapable to say no. And that's typical mistake and bias many great startups are having in their head,
Mhm.
that if they introduce themselves properly, then kind of the trick is done. And they are always targeting the high level management for that. I've seen many cases when startups are saying, yeah, but I talked to your CEO at this exhibition, at Web Summit or at Mapic or anywhere else, or I approached through LinkedIn. So I was talking, or I was trying to talk to your CEO. And that's the thing. This is not how sales funnel is working in corporate business, because you need to be aware of three level of stakeholders you need to keep in mind and work with. And in general, if you want to sell anything to corporate business, you need to have strategy. Yeah, it's not about how to find right person to pitch your product, but it's about the wholesale strategy you need to have in mind. And the strategy, it covers understanding of your potential client, of the context they're operating in, of the strategy they're having, of the structure they're having, on decision making process they're having, on the cultural,
Mhm.
culture they're working in. All that is super important. But the most important is to apply the logic. Who is my client? And client means consumer of the service of the or the product I'm selling. Who is the sponsor within this corporate business of the product or service I'm selling, and how the procurement process is structured in the company I'm targeting. Because these three layers, like
Mhm.
consumer, sponsor, and procurement, have totally different needs, pain points, which you need to address in your communication and sales strategy. And we can speak that later on more.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, to be honest, I have never heard about that approach. As you mentioned, it's very interesting and it's very helpful. As for me and even like my friends, they're always like thinking about one person, trying to send them like LinkedIn messages and like they're not answering. And then people like starting to understand like what's going on, what I did wrong. So I think that mentioned that it's very, very helpful. Thank you so much.
And I can give maybe the example even so it
Yeah.
stops to be that theoretical. Yeah, imagine you are selling CRM systems,
Mhm.
yeah, and you are proposing to improve some process of working with the clients, yeah. If we speak about CRM system, then most probably sales team within the corporate business is the one is like real client, real consumer of your service, right? But the thing is that sales team will not procure this package, this service, yeah, this consultancy, whatever you offer in this CRM sphere. Then it means you need to also to get to know how procurement process is structured, because procurement team and the sponsor will be, let's say, operations team.
Mhm.
Yeah, procurement team will look into how reliable the supplier is, in which markets this supplier is present and what capabilities it has, whether this company as supplier worked with similar scale companies, because that's all like, is it legally binded? Is it a reliable partner who will not sink in half a year after selling and signing the contract? Yeah. So for procurement, it will all be about legal and financial stability and reliability. It's all about trust. But
Mhm.
if you would speak to the real clients, which would be the sales team, they will be way more interested in the essence of the product. Yeah, whether the CRM solution is answering their pain points, that it is their life, which helps to to save information in a better way, to be more user friendly, or to give some insights which they were missing, or to save time for them in their daily job. So their need in knowing your product is way more different than the need of procurement, who is serving sales team in order to find the right supplier, procure it, do the tender, sign the agreement, and hand over this to the sales team so they start implementing these things. Yeah.
Mhm.
So knowing this difference, yeah, between stakeholders, you can build right arguments, communication strategy, and to find even right people to interact with, talking their pain points and not just your desire and love to the product you have.
Yeah, yeah, it's a very interesting approach. Actually, I've never thought about that, that we need to identify really right people. And maybe you can suggest some like strategy how to do that research and how to actually find these people.
Yeah, definitely. And thanks God we're sitting in 2026. There are so many great tools to use, and definitely it's all about artificial intelligence and the different tools for that. And that's about really creating. I would say I would recommend you to create the different agents, which agents which will help you to target different information. So through LinkedIn, you have so many information. Through Sales Navigator, you have so many information. So you just need to build the agent which will help you to structure that. Yeah, and you can map the stakeholders, understanding the company structure. You can find the right people based on their information in LinkedIn. Yeah, you can build all that having the open sources. So for you, it will be easier than to concentrate on interaction, because if you would ask me what in this modern world of technology, what shall be automized and what shall stay within the company as kind of in-house job, I would say never outsource relations, yeah, and interaction with your clients in regards to big corporate businesses. Because again, the work, the interaction with big businesses is about building relations. It's not about one-time deal. It's often about offering some services, spending month in negotiations, coming to certain conclusion and real sales, and then post service support, maintenance, whatever operations what you are selling. Because once you are in this corporate world, most probably, and that's what all the startups would, I'm sure, wish for, you become trustworthy. It means the big corporate business, will stamp something on you like reliable partner. And most probably, this is the gateway to further collaboration, for further contracts, further referrals. So it's super important to keep this information and relations within the team, to own communication, because this is really about building trust.
Mhm. Okay, interesting. And I also curious to know about what would be the right time to actually enter the corporate, because sometimes the startup has tested their idea, has developed some application, maybe already have some clients, and they understood that it's like they see that they already have some product. It's much better that the corporate has now. So maybe it's like the right time. How to identify that?
Yeah, really, really good question. Thank you for that. As we started, yeah, the corporate business, international business, often it's about scale, yeah, but also this company most probably has the strong brand. Yeah, it could be consumer brand. Like, let's take IKEA. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
what IKEA means, it's the brand. It's a great asset which costs money. So any risk of reputation of this brand is never, never ever acceptable. So none of the big corporate businesses which are having the strong brand would ever risk it, because reputation is money, and it's close to impossible to return it once it's broken. So this is the mindset, the whole mindset which all startups needs to have in their head when they're selling something, that big corporate businesses are searching for something which is reliable and never damage their brand or bring any harm or any signal of risk. That's why big corporate businesses, they really prefer to work with bigger partners, because again, that gives them the sense of security, the sense of reliability, the sense of partnership, meaning minimizing risks for them. So startup in general may sound scary for the big business as
Yeah.
potential partner. So the whole strategy of the startup shall be about giving this confidence to the big business that they're reliable, they are stable, they will not be gone tomorrow, and they will never damage big company brand. It means that the business, in a way, startup business shall be ready to meet this volume, this size.
Hmm.
Again, big corporate business will not search for solution which fit just one division or which will work on one market of company presence if they have presence in 20 markets. So you need to be ready to work with different markets, to be compliant to different legislations, to think whether you can guarantee data security, for example, in European Union, but also in whatever Middle East and in Africa. Yeah, if the company is present on them in that market. So being ready for the scale and being ready to transmit the confidence of this readiness is two things the startup needs to be focusing on.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe to provide some numbers, some information that can be trustful.
Trustful. So, and it's definitely about previous experience of working with the big businesses. It's about compliance to certain regional legislation, and the standards being part of ecosystem. But also, it's about, yes, we have whatever IT support in 20 languages, because if we speak about corporate business, the big international business, it means that employees are operating or doing some tasks in different languages. So many solutions which startups may try to sell, they need to be from one side global, from another side, depending on specific of the goods or the service, they shall be very local and shall be ready to meet this locality of the culture of the language the employees may speak. I must say, for example, Inca Centers, part of IKEA group or group of companies, is operating on different markets, including Europe, including China. And for example, in China, many employees they prefer to do business in Chinese. So lots of manuals, guidelines, standards, systems. We are striving to be available for our Chinese colleagues in Chinese. Otherwise, kind of it could slow down the efficiency. So any startup who will target big monster, big giant, shall be ready to meet this complexity.
Yeah, yeah, very interesting. I actually didn't never thought about that approach about like that you also should take in mind like different regions and to adapt your solution to that. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Very informative, Ekaterina. Okay, and next questions I would like to ask you about like mistakes, maybe based on your experience. What is the most common mistake you see founders making when trying to sell to big companies?
Yeah, it's really approaching wrong people. Yeah, I would say like this. And a second is, if you want to sell something, it's super important to understand what this person ready to buy. Yeah, so it's not about selling what you want to sell, but it's about selling what the person is searching to buy. That's the most important. So many companies are starting from the perception my product is the best, but the most important is to start listening or asking the questions about what do my clients really need? What are their pain points or struggles which I can solve or fix with my
Mhm.
product? What do I answer as their what they're searching for? And it often comes with the necessity to change the product or to change the strategy or to approach the other clients. But also, as I said, approaching wrong people is the typical mistakes. So founders are really knocking wrong doors, and it's really like just stop interacting with CEOs. They're brilliant people, but they are really on a different level of interaction, and they are responsible for the different level of questions. They are on a very strategic business development oriented questions on the scale of millions and billions of euro. Yeah, but you need to really approach people who have the pain point which your product is closing, is the answer. So if you're creating solutions for finance industry or financial topics, then search for finance people. They will be more open to listen to what you're offering, and they potentially will become the ambassadors within the company to help you to sell the product, because they will see the need in that. Yeah.
Okay.
So I can give one example.
Yep.
I was on a web summit this autumn, and I met quite a number of people who, once they saw the IKEA badge, they were straightforward, like, yeah. One was offering me to be his ambassador of selling concrete blocks for building the houses, because IKEA is offering lots of solutions for interior. And he said, like, why don't we convert that in, more or less a Leroy Merlin, type of stores where you will cover both interior and exterior as such, without thinking what the whole brand stands for, what is the strategy of the brand, but also kind of what's the DNA and what we are targeting. So he was so obsessed with his product that he was just thinking that's the perfect mix. But also, I mean, he was approaching me, and I'm totally from, different industry even within the whole group. And another story was a brilliant company was offering the charging stations for their clients, and they were really always approaching the CEO of our company, the development director, and those guys are thinking which markets to penetrate, where shall we build another shopping center on the globe, and not about the chargers for the customers. But at the end, I mean, he found me, and I'm as a business partner working with customer experience within our company, and I'm way more,
Mhm.
with the open ears to hear what he's offering, and finding the gateway within my corporate business of helping him to sell this product, because I know I work with the customers, and I know they need this, so I understand the value of this product, and I'm willing to help this company to find a gate through this complex corporate environment. So knocking the right door or knocking the wrong door could speed up or totally kill the idea of sale.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It makes sense. And I also think that maybe your message, tone of voice, how you craft, because as like even based on my experience and my friends' experience, like, even though you can use any AI tools, it still needs to be human some way. And you can recommend some maybe ideas on how to create this message. Should it be short or like long? Should you attach some documents, presentation, videos?
Yeah, really, really good one. I believe it's again about the strategy. Who do you want to target, and what is the company you are approaching? Because depending on what is their corporate culture, even, yeah, what is the DNA of the company, knowing that will help you to start, messaging, or to start a dialogue, because you need to talk corporate language in a way, and you need to understand what is the tone of voice, or like, how to say, cultural pattern you need to apply. For example, I work for a Swedish company which was born in Sweden. We have corporate rules, and tone of voice. It's all about simplicity, humbleness, respect, joint efforts, and we are very much Swedish culture driven. It's about being polite, it's about being soft, it's about never saying, bad things, never being straightforward, and more about inclusive way of communication. But if you would target the companies which are based in United States,
Mm-hmm.
or you're targeting the company whose headquarter or the roots are coming from Indian market, the whole strategy, how you start building relations with the stakeholders in the company, is different, because you either need to be way more direct to the point, because for example in US people will value their time, and they just need, to know what's value it brings, how much does it take, and something fact driven, which will be way more different if you would approach a company with the Indian headquarter, where relations start first, and people need to know each other first in order to have trust, even to hear and listen, So that cultural differences, I would strongly recommend anyone to respect,
Mm-hmm.
discover. There are brilliant books like Culture Map, for example, which you could read, and it gives you the whole universe of insights you've never thought of.
Yeah, yeah, very interesting. And if we are talking about Spain, since you have been living there for 20 years, and we are mostly focused.
Five. don't,
Yes,
don't
25 years.
just
Yeah. So basically, yeah, we are targeting now people who trying to do their businesses in Spain. So maybe you can, based on your experience, share some hacks how to approach companies in Spain.
Yeah, definitely. In Spain, I would say it's all about relations as well. Yeah?
Mhm.
And knowing that many people are grown up together, they know each other from childhood, from school. Those bonds are really strong. So any company would always prefer someone they know.
Mhm.
Yeah, either through someone or directly. So it's all about friends and relatives. So in order to get to this circle of trust, yeah, you really need to be the part of the ecosystem. You need to know people. In ideal scenario, you should be introduced by someone, the company or the big boss or your stakeholder trusts. Yeah, because if you come just as someone unknown, I do believe it will be hard journey to get through.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree. Yeah, agree.
Does this resonate? Have you experienced that?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, what I loved about Spain that people here, like once you enter the right community, people are very
Mhm.
open, very friendly. Even all those events that I visited personally, like Startup Ole or Happy Hour. So once
Mhm.
like you can do some introduction about yourself and show value you can bring to the community, people are really open and can recommend you to someone else. So it's I think it's one of the pluses of Spain that it's really open to innovation, but it might takes time, some time. And
Yeah.
I also do have some friends here in Spain, some real examples. One of my friends, she's trying to launch her own cosmetics brand here in Spain, and she already has some product. And even me myself, I was trying it, so like everything looks great. But she's really stuck on the like next steps. Of course, she wants to enter maybe some retail, some pharmacy chains, some distributors. Maybe based on your like knowledge, you can suggest some ideas to her, please.
I'm sure you're listening for this podcast. Yeah. So, hello, dear company who is selling consumer cosmetic brand. I would say the following. I mean, definitely, first you need to have the strategy. It's not like yeah, I need and I want to sell to everybody. It's like really, who are your customers? Yeah, this product which you are producing or I mean distributing, who is your consumer and how this consumer, I mean, where are they present? Yeah, what is really that? Is it B2B thing? Is it B2C thing? Do you want to have your own distribution at the end? How do you want your brand to grow and to scale? What's the ambition really? Because depending on that, you need to define really who would be your clients and how to approach them. But definitely I would say it's super important, especially if you target, like if you target big, I would question first, are you really sure you want to target some international companies and big brands, or is there like smaller scale to start with? Because I will give another example from ed tech industry. I was mentoring the company who was automizing feedback from employees because the big companies, they do regular check-ins, let's say pool surveys about the employees' satisfaction, whether the people are happy, whether they feel they're empowered, whether they feel health and well-being respected, work and life balance, whether they have enough tools to work with, etc., etc. This is important because at the end, this is the retention of employees or staff turnover, yeah, and efficiency, productivity. So guys were optimizing this, and they were targeting the huge corporate businesses. Like, yeah, we will go and sell this. It's so convenient. Every employee can just push the button and record the feedback instead of clicking on the questionnaire. It's so convenient, it's perfect, and we will go, bold and conquer the world. And then when we started to discuss with them, we like again face the question: are you ready to target the whole world? Will your solution be friendly to different languages? Will Indian people be able to record that? Do you know that in some markets, using of kind of audio is not what people prefer as a way of interaction? Will your system and AI agent be able to analyze the feedback? Because again, in some cultures it will be direct, in some cultures people will just say, "I'm happy, totally fine," but that will means I'm about to quit the company. So, like, are you ready for the big thing? Or are you ready to do the next step and test it with a middle scale company who is present on one market? You can learn from interaction with them, and then you can prepare yourself for, selling global. And then they realize that, okay, maybe we haven't mapped the proper, overview of our potential clients, and we just, were thinking there is someone rich and I want to reach them out. So it's really about mapping. And then once you map it and have the strategy, okay, we target this Spanish chain or this one pharmacy, or maybe it's not the pharmacy, but I don't know, cosmetic store. I would even then think, okay, who is your partner to have the dialogue with? Who is interested in expanding range or SKUs? Who is interested of bringing new um, assortment? Why your product is special? How it is contributing to their goals? Do they want to sell more? Do they want to be as brand perceived more eco-friendly or sustainable? Or anything else, or whatever the shop who is inclusive
Mhm.
or diverse enough. So you need also to understand what are the goals of your clients in order to build right dialogue with them, and then who is the right stakeholder within the company. But also, one of the things maybe I would mention, if you want to target still big corporate business as such, find someone who can help you to voice louder. Find someone who is already existing partner of this corporate world, who can link you, connect you, or through whom you can start up, maybe not directly selling to the corporate business, but acting through the partner, through the distributor, through the existing vendor of this big corporate business. So I would be happy to meet your friend who has these exciting products to see and map in reality to land it in exact actions for her business.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a really good idea because I know that for people it's very like they have some fear of speaking with real people. They may be afraid of hear some feedbacks. But as for me, I think that this testing phase it's very important. Important even if maybe before developing some product. What do you think about like is it like easy to go to that people who work in corporate and just simply ask them about your idea that you would like to develop?
I do believe that's possible because I mean, CastDev is the base of any product development, right? You need to ask your customers whether they see the value in your product, whether that responds to their needs, and whether they feel satisfied with the solution you have. But the thing is, as always, you need to find the right person. Yeah, so you need to find the user of your product. Once you find the user, this person will be way more, open and ready to talk to you, to give you feedback, to listen to your presentation. And this feedback is definitely, like as always, we in corporate we say feedback is a gift. So this gift, this is never criticizing. This gift gives you a free of charge base to improve your product in order to bring more value and increase chances to be sold.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, amazing. Yeah, I think it's very, very informative. And also, maybe my last questions would be again like about strategy. You already mentioned that it's like very important, and you need to like to develop it. Maybe you can share like some maybe steps how to develop this strategy, how like much time to spend on it, and maybe in terms of numbers. I mean, is it okay to get like 10 no or like 100 no, or like when to stop and go to different direction?
Yeah, it's like I reason like it resonates me with the last sentence you said, like when to stop.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like when to give up. It depends on you. I mean, hopefully never, right? But what you should be ready to is to adapt, yeah, and adjust. And do the test and try. Yeah, before the test, it's so easy to stay in the bias on that your product is brilliant and everybody wants to buy it, and you will earn millions, trillions, and will become the unicorn. But the faster you meet the reality, the faster you start interacting with your potential customer, hopefully at the stage of product development or even hypothesis that there is a potential of on the market with certain industry or certain solution. I mean, the faster you meet reality, the faster you fail, the faster you stand up and go. So really start interacting with your clients on the product development or prototyping phase, find right people, and to do so, yeah, the strategy is needed. So the strategy shall include understanding of your client from structure, right stakeholders, and decision making, yeah, to understand what tone of voice to build, to whom to talk, with what messages, so it resonates with their pain point and their KPIs, which could be about money, which could be about speed, which could be about reliability and mitigation of risks, which could be about something else. So you need to study them definitely. And then, second, yeah, once you study the company in regards to decision making, structure, stakeholders, pain point, and cultural context, start building your message. Yeah, what will you tell to whom? Who is the right person to start knocking the door to? Typically, I would say really it's your potential users of the solution. Through them, you can also learn more. So it's not, I would say, knocking first, knock to the door is not about selling your product or service. It's about getting the information. Yeah, it's about getting insights, whether you analyze things right, whether there is anyone you can find as a right person within the corporate, whether your product is great, whether your message is heard. So forget about necessity to sell from the first lift you are standing in with the CEO, but think of how can I find the person who is open to share insights with me, and what are the questions I want to ask this person about in order for me to build a sales strategy. Yeah, and find the right person to send my presentation, yeah, to have intro, a demo, and then get into commercial negotiations. So you need to kind of get in the system, have right spice, right source of information about how things work inside, and really start from there.
Great, great. I would say it's very informative. It's a lot of items we need to work on. So thank you so much. And I would definitely say that on this journey, as for me, like mentor, it's very important because basically you can do it by yourself, but it's always great to have someone who can help you through that.
Yeah, and there are definitely always shortcuts in the system, but you don't see them. It's like IKEA, another example. IKEA store, once you're inside, you feel you are trapped and you follow the certain route, and you will pass through all the departments before you come to the cash desk. But not that many people know that there are, semi-hidden doors between the different departments, like between the whatever bathroom and the kitchen. So if you really need to go to the cash desk fast, you can always find the fast track. But to notice and to find fast track, maybe you need to ask sales employee, in the store, to ask where is the neighboring door which leads to the cash desk. So same with the startup and the process of selling to corporate giant, you need to find these hidden doors. But in order to do so, you need to find first door to open, knock, and ask the question, where is the nearest cash desk, exit.
Mhm.
So find this first door, ask the right questions, get to know more about decision making, about the company structure, about the needs strategy and the language the company speaks, and you will define the right steps and arguments to get your product sold.
Amazing, amazing, Katerina. Thank you so much. I mean, it was very informative. Usually at the end, I always ask the guest about some cheat codes, but you already mentioned a lot, a lot of useful information. So if you would like to add maybe some last sentence for our listener, it would be great.
Yeah, keep believing in your product because you are guys changing our lives with your energy, dynamic, and belief in the better future. If you would not be the disruptors of existing reality, we would never progress. So keep believing. Just find the ears who are really open to listening, and be ambassadors of that, but also respect the differences, find the right words, and you will succeed.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Ekaterina, for your presentation. And it's, as for me, it was very, very informative. I'm sure for our guest as well. Hope to see you in our next episodes.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for listening in.